When you hear the name John Smith, you immediately think of Pocahontas. But what if I told you his life before the New World was straight up chaos? This week here on American Loser.
Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Coming first, never last, still erased from the past. I am an American loser. No one remembers my name. No legacy and no future. One step behind in the game.
All right, folks, what is going on here? Welcome back to another episode of American Loser. It's a podcast about weird, messed up stuff for American history. We've been doing it for a long time, but now we're in our Gas Digital era. I'm very excited to be here at Gas Digital. Of course, real quickly, we have to give a shout out to the hardest working folks here. That's the people in the booth. All right? One Dr. Michael Harrington. How are you today, buddy?
Never better, KP.
My understanding was you had a $150 parking ticket.
115.
115. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. All right, I'm going to need $35 back then because we just collected a little bit for you to try to make it up for you, but I'm going to need to take $35 out of that tip cup, buddy. I'm not overpaying for this, okay? You don't get gas on top of it. I'm sorry that happened to you. Good news is sponsors keep rolling in, buddy, okay? So it's going to be all nicotine-related products and things for aspiring lumberjacks, but we got sponsors, baby.
I love to hear it.
It's an exciting thing, man. And then also, fresh off of his spiritual retreat back to his roots in the Powhatan Native American tribe, the Dominator back with us today. Dom, how are you, buddy?
I feel enlightened.
Enlightened? Vision Quest?
Yeah.
Dom is a member of the Powhatan Nation here, which is why I said, when I called our two guests for today, I said, we have to tell a story about the Powhatan people, and what better way to do it than to tell it through the eyes of Captain John Smith. Now, first of all, I got a quick birthday shout out here. Somebody sitting to my left is turned 74 years old on this very day.
Wow.
Larry Burke, how are you?
Hey, we're doing great, KP. We're doing great.
Yeah, you're fresh off an appearance on The Thing Is, where Shannon and Figs got you nice and liquored up. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if the slurs come flying this week, folks, it's all right. He was born in the 50s.
Blame me.
And then another guest, returning guest to the show, but first now joining us in our Gas Digital era, one of my best friends, one of my favorite comics in comedy, the Mike Sicoli. How are you, buddy?
I'm so stoked to talk about. I'm so stoked. First of all, I'm super happy that I'm here on your birthday.
Hey, how about that?
Happy birthday.
Hey, how about a father that gives up his birthday to his kid to do a podcast?
That's a good
I
dad.
think that speaks loud, doesn't it?
Your gift was very clear. We let you sit next to Shannon, right? And then she brought you booze, okay? It's not, this isn't a one-way street, fella.
That's right.
And Sicoli, you know the deal on the show, buddy. We're telling messed up stories from American history. You are Disney Prince Handsome.
Thank you so much, man.
You really are.
I appreciate that.
You are. It's we've told you years ago you should have moved to LA. You would have made it by now. We'd all be trying to remember when we hung out with you. But instead, you're like, nope, I'm just going to come hang out, do the mean stuff in New York City and New Jersey. And God, you're a failure.
I chose the boys. Choose the boys every time.
Wrong coast.
Well, I say Disney Prince because there's some Disney connotations to this week's story here. So it's gotta love that. Andy Highroller, I love you, but you can't call while I'm on the air, buddy. All right? You can't call while I'm on the air, and you can't call while the Giants are playing. That's the only two things I ask, bud. All right? But this week's loser is a guy who gets rather fondly remembered thanks to the Disney movie. Did you ever see Pocahontas, buddy?
Yes, I did. That was Val Kilmer, if I'm right.
Nah.
Or Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
Bro.
I knew it was one of them. Yeah.
And there's another weird tie-in, too, because there's two really main movies that are made about this myth, which we're going to debunk a little bit here, about John Smith and his Indian princess Pocahontas, if you will. And two things I thought were interesting. Number one is that the two movies that were made about, they both tell the story a little bit wrong. They give it a romance angle. I don't know. You're a handsome guy. You live in Asbury Park. You kind of, sometimes you hang out, you hook up with chicks younger than you, right? Carly's younger than me, right?
Yeah.
If you were in your late 20s, early 30s, and you were a rugged guy who lived a life, do you really think you're going to try to hook up with a 10-year-old Native American girl?
Ooh, no,
Yeah, right.
that might be a little young for me.
That's a whole different level of illegal.
They show her as a mature woman in the Disney movie. And by the way, the next movie that they make, which comes about 10 years later, is called The New World by Terrence Malick, I believe. And that also shows her as a mature woman. Right? They tell a more true story. It's pretty heartbreaking, her story. It's not a good one. That you understand why they left it ambiguous at the end of the Mel Gibson version. But what I thought was interesting is, in the Mel Gibson version, there's a English soldier, and it's all voice work, obviously. It's an animated movie. It's Christian Bale is one of the voice actors for that, and he's a young kid, and he's playing older than he is, right? So he's got to like put on like a fake voice, like he's trying to be a little tougher than he is.
Yeah.
So he wound up doing that, and then he plays John Rolfe in The New World. So of the two major Pocahontas movies, Christian Bale's in both of them.
Wow, I did not know that.
Wow,
He also made a couple Batman movies in between the two of those.
There you go.
So, and of course, we got some other weird things we're going to tie in here. So this story is not going to be a boring one about John Smith and Pocahontas. We are going to debunk a little bit of that here. But LP, you and me noticed that there's a whole chapter in John Smith's life that seems to get skipped over.
Yeah, before the New World arrived, or he arrived in the New World, there's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of shenanigans that he got involved with. Absolutely.
It's a different time. It's a different time. But he does get remembered fondly, and the Disney version, not all that accurate, folks, and probably for good reason, because no one wants to take their kids to see a singing musical with animals of the woods that are best friends with people, and then wind up telling a horrible story where almost everybody dies in an awful manner.
Right. Ooh. Either through starvation or what.
Yeah. But I also have to fight that urge to be the guy that tries to fight and be like, oh, Disney movie, it was very inaccurate, historic. I can't be that guy either.
Well, actually, guys.
The worst. It truly is the worst.
Right. Cliff Clavin of Cheers.
Pocahontas is actually about a 10-year-old girl at the time here. So old John Smith, he'd have himself a case of statutory if, it's just, what do I know about the Commonwealth?
There was no dads against Preds back then.
That's
You couldn't meet anybody in a grocery store and get called out.
The Preds were actually, it was probably another slur for the natives at the time in reality. It's still got, both movies have their inaccuracies here, so it's tough. We will eventually be able to hit a zeitgeist, Dom, but I'll say, this one I'm going to say base knowledge, but base knowledge is as close to the zeitgeist as we're going to get. We have a sound drop now, buddy.
Oh, yeah, sound drop is zeitgeist.
John Smith, English soldier, always associated with the New World. He will arrive in the New World as part of the Jamestown expedition in 1606. That is going to be a for-profit colony. I did not realize this, but Mike Sicoli, you're a big movie guy, like I am. That's I think where our friendship. I already liked you a lot, but
that just cemented the deal.
100%. But the movie, when you go into the movie world of the Alien franchise, they have these colonies, but they're not run by governments. They're run by independent companies. Mm-hmm. So like Weyland-Yutani is the company over there on that one. And this is what it is. This company is sent out there to make a for-profit colony. So it's actually not British territory. They're their own. It's a private business, and they're just having a venture, if you will, on this. So I thought that was worth mentioning because eventually, obviously, things go a little bit haywire, and then it becomes part of England, which I didn't realize this. We kind of, I'm jumping around a little bit here, but what we originally called New England at the time included Northern Virginia. So how we turned it into just Tom Brady and the boys up there, they lost a little territory in the initial discovery.
Yeah, Virginia was originally from like Virginia all the way up to almost Maine. So their territory was diminished a little bit. But
what should we name it? In honor of England. What about New England?
Yeah, New England. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, weird side note, too, because all three of us are jerks from Jersey, which you're going to hear when we slaughter the pronunciation of a couple of Native American names in a bit.
It's all right. Nobody else will know anyhow.
There will be somebody in the comments who sounds it out.
Absolutely.
Our fans are
pretty
good to us.
Actually, it's pronounced...
Well, interestingly enough, is that this for-profit colony is going to be founded by the English in Virginia. It's the Virginia Company of London is the company that makes this one. And whether or not it's a good thing, it's actually the first permanent colony over here. and they face nonstop grave danger from everything that includes starvation, disease, inner turmoil, and, of course, encounters with the natives, which is where we know the John Smith legend of. So you went Val Kilmer with it. Not too far off. They got Mel Gibson to do it. And they wanted to show him as like a handsome, rugged guy. And that's kind of what, that's the idealized, the romanticized version of him. He's a little bit more like, he's not 95 Mel Gibson, he's more like 06 Mel Gibson.
Still a pretty good looking dude.
Pretty good, but he's chaotic at best here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So he is buried with major honors back home in England, has multiple things named in his honor here in the United States, which is not bad for a guy who only lives to be maybe 51. So you outlived John Smith, Dad.
By a bunch.
Yeah, suck it, John Smith.
That's right.
Which, by the way, 51's pretty impressive considering how often he should have died when you go into some of the things he got involved with here. But he's got multiple movies, multiple books written about him, and a bunch of his own writings are still studied, but classic history here, folks. When they talk about this and they say we're rewriting history right now, or you're whitewashing history, or any sort of progressive retelling of history, they're all putting their own spin on it, but the original writings are also dubious at best. Right. So it's who's your audience that you're writing it for. And that's kind of what we're going to get into here. So
do you print the legend or you print the truth?
Well, we abide by
legend.
the liberty valance principle. That's what we do here on the show. John Smith will arrive in the New World, but on the journey over, talk about a badass entrance for a character in a movie. You see the ships arriving on shore. John Smith, who we know is going to become a central figure in the story, dude was under arrest the entire trip. Go ahead.
Yeah. They were funded. This whole thing was funded by this corporation.
Wayland Yutani. We'll keep going with that.
Yeah, and they weren't long out of England when he's arrested and put into imprisonment on board ship for possible mutiny. So
not only is he supposedly part of a mutiny on the ride over, and then he's in chains being kept below deck the entire time. The plan is by the people in charge. All right, as soon as we land, we're going to kill John Smith.
Right, we're going to hang him. Right. We'll wait till we get to dry land before we string him up.
Yeah, we can't just throw him overboard. That's
can't
not
hang him
nice.
from the yard arm. We'll wait till we're on dry land.
I think he likes 10-year-olds too.
Yeah.
Get rid of him.
Oh, thank God! Yeah, good news, buddy. The New World. There's no laws here.
That's right.
But it's crazy. His life actually gets spared because I thought this was so interesting. The company gave orders. They had sealed orders, and then I guess when they opened them upon arrival, they sat there and they said, they're like, all right, so real quick, I'm going to open up these orders in a second, but let's set up a post over there to hang and kill John Smith from. Anyway, let's open this thing up over here, and it's from the Virginia Company of London. It says, it says John Smith's in charge, actually.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's
hey,
bad.
hold up. We're about to kill our mayor.
Yeah, that's cool. Did he know that? Or that was a surprise for him?
No, that
too?
was.
He didn't know.
I believe it was like orders to be opened upon arrival in the New World, upon arrival in Virginia, that nobody knew until they opened them up. So that's
Wow.
That's the
What was so special about him that they picked him?
Oh, he's got a backstory, buddy.
his resume is pretty impressive.
All right, sweet.
It's and that's what we're doing on the show here. If you guys want to know the story about John Smith and Pocahontas, there's a million places you can go to get the full story. We'll skim over that. We're going to give you guys correct a couple things that are wrong, but really the crux of this episode is his life before the New World, because he deserves 3 or 4 movies. Start writing it in your head, man, because it's perfect. And figure out if you can. You're the first guy I want to throw a casting couch opportunity to. Once I finish telling you the John Smith story, I would like to know who Mike Sicoli would cast in a movie to play this straight up pure chaos man.
I love that. That.
You can't name Charlie Sheen. That's the only one. Okay? You can't do Charlie Sheen.
He's out.
Well, while in the New World here, and by the way, this is as rough of a trip as these guys can go on. More than half the first group of settlers that arrive will die. You go through reading their history. My father printed out a bunch of timelines and stuff. There's like the first Great Starvation, and then there's the second Powhatan War.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's all these different. And Dom, since I know it's part of your heritage, we were going to ask you to help us with pronunciation on a couple of the names here for the Powhatan. So it's that was my understanding, is that Dom is a member of the Powhatan Nation, which is loosely Algonquin. It's funny too, because sometimes when I call him in the middle of the night, Dom will actually answer in Algonquin, and I'll just, I don't know why. I'm like, dude, I must have woken you up. You're speaking to me in Algonquin.
Right.
And he just goes,
speaking in tongues or Algonquin? Which?
I wish he would just not save my name in his phone as white man, but
Is he really Native American?
110%.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing. Dude, he grew up on one of the reservations.
Wow, that's cool.
You had no idea, did you?
I had no idea. I thought he was Joe List when I walked in. I was like, oh shit, Joe List is just chilling here, right on the couch.
And from week to week, his heritage changes, but that's all right.
Dom's a little bit of what we'd call a DEI hire, so we don't want to. We want to employ the diversity, equity, and inclusion motto, but we really don't want to lose a great sound engineer, so he just changes ethnicity every week. It's like in casino. When they say, put your job application in as food and beverage manager, and then when it gets to the top, they'll reject it, and then we put another one in here that says that you're part of entertainment. So that's what we're doing. We're just keeping Dom here so that DEI cannot cost him his job.
Are you secret safe with me?
This New World thing, though, it's going to require a guy like John Smith's survivor skills, which is going to keep him and the colony from failing. He's known as a little bit of an authoritarian leader. Anybody who's going to live over through the initial trip from Virginia, imagine you're in this boat, by the way.
Yeah, and this trip boat over is not an easy, it's not like you're going on a luxury cruise line. Mm-hmm. It's 3 to 4 months to get over here. And, just to get over here is a major accomplishment.
I'm sure the living
just to
conditions
arrive. Yeah.
Brutal.
Oh, it's not fun at all. Mm-hmm. And I believe they don't send women at first.
No, it's all guys.
You got to wait. It's like reverse Titanic. All right, men off the ship first, and then if they live, then maybe we'll send women. But the trick with this one, and there's a couple of them, because if you want to, this is where we really could get lost going down these wormholes. But Jamestown is going to be, that's the important one. That's where the story of Pocahontas comes in and everything like that. But John Smith was a survivor. And also, at what point are you sitting there in your journey over here, and all of a sudden John Smith's on land now, and he's giving orders to you, and you're like, yo, dude, weren't you locked up in cuffs below deck? Weren't we going to kill you a minute ago? Mm-hmm. I feel like whatever's in that magic envelope that saved your ass with your Willy Wonka ticket.
That's right. You got the golden ticket for sure.
Yeah, I don't even know how he did that one. But here's the thing. Even if he was a bastard, and he was a hard ass, which a lot of people said he was, he's got results. So everybody's dying all around you and stuff like that. They're going through starvation periods. But he's able to make things happen. So sometimes he's able to get just food from the local natives that they start having a little bit of a polite trading agreement with them.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's polite. Sometimes it's less than cordial.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes it's at the point of a gun that you want to give us some foodstuffs, right?
By the way, I don't think it's hard to say this, is that for Native American history, of which you grew up with a passion for, and I am fascinated by, we tend to focus on, as we should, I really do think this, we should focus on the absolute brutality of the later massacres that were executed by the U.S. government. I'm talking about Wounded Knee, I'm talking about all sorts. But there's a bunch of early on massacres where you're like, oh, hang on, the natives did this to us?
Yeah.
Hang on, they knocked on the front doors and got welcomed in and then started attacking people with weapons? Oh, yeah, okay. I understand why we were a little bit fearsome of them.
Yeah.
But the agreement that we made initially when you guys were starving and barely making it through the winter, and we helped you out, and then you kept coming and kept taking more that eventually we said, hey, this is bullshit, you guys are out.
Yeah, it's like it's incrementalism, right? So if the numbers right now, it's not bad, and then you sit there and you blink and you're like, I got a little bigger, this territory. Mm-hmm. Jamestown is allowed to survive originally, by the way, because they picked a shitty little piece of swampland to build their encampment, and that's why they let them, like, oh yeah, we're not using that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when our guy John Smith first shows up to Jamestown. He said, this is a shitty site. I mean, there's no way of farming and everything else. And the Native Americans realized that all right, the first ones that arrived, you want to take Jamestown on that swampland, you can't grow crap. You guys are going to be hard pressed to survive there. You want to stay there? We'll let you stay there. But then as more and more started coming in and they started expanding further and further out from the original Jamestown, and then they said, hey, wait a minute, there's something's got to be done here. We got to make a different arrangement.
Mm-hmm. My theory is, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but the Native Americans handled us, and I'm saying us as European settlers, all right? Mikey's a nice Italian boy. You're German Irish, I'm straight Mick. But this is how I think they handled it. I think that when the Europeans arrived, it's like when you got a girl and she's staying with you for a little bit. And she's like, do you mind if I bring like a night bag or something?
That's right.
You're like, yeah,
Toothbrush.
what kind of jerk am I if I don't let you bring a night bag? You're like, you see that drawer you have in your shelf over there? I feel like, can I just put some clothes in there? And then all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're banished downstairs. Your Tom Waits poster came off the wall.
Right.
All right. And all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're like, I have my basement now. And you see a man cave. I see reservations, folks.
Why do
That's
we have
exact-
all these pillows on my bed? We don't need all these pillows.
How many kinds of soap do we need?
Get this shit out of here. I just wanna
50
go to
bottles
sleep.
of shampoo in the shower.
There you go.
It was to give Carly credit. Her 50 bottles of shampoo she brought with her were also the first bottles of shampoo in the house. I can't pretend she didn't make it nicer.
There you go.
But before they're even able to send for the women in this colony here, this is how bad things are getting. They're going to get food stores and stuff like that. He's living off land. He'll do a little bit of hunting when he can, stuff like that. He's lived a rough life. He knows how to survive.
John Smith.
Yes, and it's always paying dividends for him until the resupply ships can come. But by the way, the trick is it's not just supplies they're bringing. It's also going to be a lot more people. So, hey, we just showed up with more food, but we also showed up with a bunch more mouths to feed. So Smith is a soldier through and through, and even though he is proving instrumental to everyday survival of the camp, not only are people plotting against him, the Native Americans are like, hey, who's this English soldier guy? They call him Captain Smith. Let's kind of make some mental notes about him. He could be dangerous, right? So the natives are all sizing him up. And then there's also plots to kill him from within Jamestown.
Right.
Because a lot of the people were
This is the
not
guy that
loving him.
originally arrived in this place in shackles, and
Yes.
now all of a sudden he's large and in charge.
Oh,
What
yeah.
a turnaround.
And, yeah.
How long after he gets there is this going on?
It's pretty quick. Things, it's nuts too how fast. That's a great question. How fast everything moved in this. Because keep in mind, I'm going to tell you guys life that deserves 5 movies, but he only lived to 51. So things move fast, but also 1 year. Like as a guy that my ship was out at sea. I think maybe like at most 4 months or something when I was in the Navy, and time just slows down. So when you're sitting there and everything's regulated, it's the same routine every day. I think I was only in Dubai with my other unit for maybe 4 or 5 months, but it feels like a longer time. So I can only imagine 1 year where you have, we're in the great starvation period right now. You're like, well, if I live to tell this, I'm going to try to really enjoy the good times when they come back.
Right,
But,
right.
I think they were down to a cup of grain a day, I think. Maybe a half a cup of grain. I can't remember exactly what it was. But there's a lot of trouble going on here too. And when times are desperate, people start plotting. They're like, if we get rid of John Smith, I feel like we can go in a different direction here. So they always try to dump leadership first. In the Disney movie and in the Terrence Malick movie, they will spin that love story I talked about, the angle of an English soldier falling in love with a Native American princess. The English have a way of bestowing royalty onto people. So we were talking about the Powhatan native, I believe it was the Powhatan Confederacy. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was a Powhatan tribe, which was the major tribe of the area, but within their jurisdiction, if you will, there was many other tribes, but the largest, most powerful was the Powhatan tribe, but they controlled a lot of these other sub-tribes, if we will, that all gave homage or their comeuppance to Chief, who became known as Chief Powhatan. So they're naming the chief by the name of the tribe, kind of a thing. So which gets a little bit confusing.
We're
'cause that
Jersey
was-
guys, so look
Yeah,
at it this
right.
way. This is the Powhatan is the ruling mafia family, and everybody's got to get an envelope. Your envelope's a little light this week. I don't know if you guys are going to eat.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
gang shit goes
Right,
back
yeah,
to
yeah.
like the beginning.
It's also to their credit, the natives are so advanced, right? This is a sophisticated culture, but the language barrier makes it impossible for them to really understand each other. But
Yeah,
they were
well-
running a government essentially.
Right. Yeah, they had their own social hierarchy, if you will, and the Powhatan tribe was the most powerful. And who are you going to name as the head of the Powhatan tribe? That's Chief Powhatan. But he was a master at diplomatic, and whether it's by force or by coercion or by
He was a thinking man.
yeah,
savage,
he
if
was
you
he
will.
was a diplomat, but he was also had the speak softly but carry a big stick kind of a thing that he had by the time Jamestown was really trying to get going. It was not just a Powhatan tribe, but there was a confederacy of 30 Native American tribes that were under Chief Powhatan's kingdom or fiefdom kind of a thing.
Everybody paid up, like you
Right.
said. It's gang stuff.
So if there was a tribe that really wasn't aligned and they're all speaking Algonquin language kind of a thing, that if they're not involved with Chief Powhatan, he's going to take out their leadership and then appoint either his sons or relatives that, La Familia is going to take over here.
He's going to come out and be like, run that corn, bitch.
That's right. He's a good earner. Put him in charge,
Yeah, this is my associate falls off trucks. Yeah, he's coming over to going to take care of things. He's going to be running things now. Now, Pocahontas, by the way, not her real name. I will not pretend to insult Dom's heritage by mispronouncing her real name, but Pocahontas was like a nickname for her, which I think some people said associates to like the naughty one or something. Like she was free-spirited for sure.
At 10 years old?
10 or 11. She was picture like a girl making trouble kind of a thing.
Middle schooler.
Yeah, so she's cigarettes in the bathroom. Maybe she's kissed a boy or two, But it's interesting here. So she doesn't marry John Smith. She doesn't stay with her tribe. In fact, her story is a little bit tragic over here. She gets herself into quite a bit of trouble for messing with the colonists at all. In fact, she will wind up getting kidnapped, taken hostage, and held for ransom by the colonists in 1613 during heightened tensions between the settlers and the natives. Now, they do actually make good on the ransom, and then the English just keep her, right?
Wow.
So,
right. At this particular point in time, between the Native Americans and the English settlers, things are tense, if you will. All right. Now, we're trading and we're supplying some foodstuffs and back and forth, but at the same time, more and more of these English settlers keep coming in. We're going to have to put a stop to this kind of a thing. So they are always apprehensive of one another. I guess is the best way to say it.
Part of the reason they had, go ahead, sir.
I said walking on eggshells around each other.
Yeah.
So much so, in fact, that part of the reason they had the Great Starvation and the colony almost failed, I think it was 60 out of 114 people died during this Great Starvation because the rule was the Native Americans would not let you out of your settlement. So if you had farmland that was within the settlement, but if you were venturing off into the woods, you were fair game.
Oh, yeah.
So why would you go out into the woods? The Native Americans are going to attack you, which is where it kind of gets crazy. This is where the Pocahontas legend jumps in here. But the true story of Pocahontas, as I was saying, is she winds up converting to Christianity because the English don't give her back. So she converts to Christianity. Pocahontas changes her name to Rebecca, right? Would have been funny if it was Caitlin. But while she's held hostage, she converts to Christianity, and she will wind up marrying a guy named John Rolfe. John Rolfe got super, super wealthy in the New World because he came over with hybrid tobacco seeds.
Right.
And so he was planting
Got the good weed.
Well, he winds up making a fortune for himself here and then marries Pocahontas, changes her name to Rebecca. They have a son. And it's pretty interesting, too. They head back over to England at some point. So Pocahontas actually winds up in England and is seen or met by the Queen, and she's given this cause of cause de célébrité, whatever you want to call it. So she is, toast of the town. They're like, oh, come meet the noble but civilized, savage native princess type thing.
Yeah.
Because we bestow royalty on people and we don't understand how something works.
Yeah. I mean, to the English mindset, that if you're the daughter of the main man, and the main man is Powhatan, who was the chief of the Powhatan tribe, who was in charge of this whole Powhatan confederacy, if you will. Well, if you're the daughter of the chief, you're the princess. Yeah. So now she's the Indian princess kind of a thing.
So like a glorified sideshow.
Their mindset could only be what they knew, which was the royalty of Europe at the time. And Europe right now is like just so full of kings and queens and noblemen that it's a cluster over there too.
It's full on Game of Thrones in Europe at this time. Worth mentioning here, too, is that the Rolfes will marry, head to England. Pocahontas is treated with dignity and celebrity status. She will have a son named Thomas, and eventually she wants to bring Thomas and her husband back to her native Virginia so that her son can see the place, because I believe the son was born in England. But unfortunately, she falls ill and will die in England. So Native American princess Pocahontas is actually buried in England. She has a huge statue commemorating her and stuff like that, too. Also worth noting here, Dom, I know you're going to be excited about this one. She is also the 12th great-grandmother of Dom's favorite Marvel actor. Come on, Dom, who is it? Who is it, buddy?
Mark Ruffalo.
Well, I know you liked Hulk. I just forgot it wasn't Ed Norton.
That's crazy.
I'm
Say
sorry,
Ed Norton,
yeah.
Dom. Say Ed Norton.
Ed Norton is actually related to Pocahontas. That is true. Pocahontas will die in 1617. She's going to be around ages 20 to 21. But interestingly enough, where she is buried in England, about a 50-minute drive, 60 minutes if you're trying to avoid the no-go zones. Her burial site is in, let's see here. I had it written down.
Specular.
Well, yeah, it is speculative because the church she was buried in. No, first of all, that's not that word either. So don't make me feel dumb. You're talking about sepulture. John Smith is buried inside of a church known as Sepulture Without Newgate Church, which is in London. And there's a giant stained glass window in his honor. So that's where John. You said sepular. And you tried to make me feel
Specular.
dumb. It's specular. Sepulture.
It's speculative.
Mom knows that.
It's
'cause-
inception.
So she never met John Smith?
No, she did meet John Smith, and this is where the legend kind of takes place on this one.
Yeah.
They can't tell if John Smith's writings were embellished a little bit to help sell things.
Okay.
So when John Smith is making his name over here, I'll tell you what, it's actually...
Yeah,
the whole
John
thing
Smith's
pulled up.
version of his first encounter with Pocahontas is a little different than what might be truly accurate.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a fair set. What you said is fair.
Yeah.
This is where Smith's own legend and legacy will come into question. His writings are all official, but his motives are what comes under scrutiny. In his writings about the New World, the intentions are simple. Explain the New World in hopes of attracting people, because you can't have a colony for profit if there's no people, right? And first of all, the people are going to pay to get over there, and if they can't pay, then they're going to pay in labor over there. So then you kind of have
Right.
indentured servitude. You have people that are going to help make things work. Smith is interesting in this because, yes, he is telling you can make it rich in the New World, but he's not spinning the bullshit of, hey, there's cities of gold over here, come on by.
Yeah.
It's, because the Spanish, that's why they were all going over there. They thought they were about to find lost cities of gold.
Yeah, and the first people to really arrive in Jamestown, a lot of them were not, hardworking middle class, put your nose to the grindstone and work it out kind of a thing. A lot of them were a little more elevated in their social status and felt that they didn't have to work. We hire people to do that shit,
When will the servants arrive to help us survive?
And that's one of the reasons why there was such a high mortality rate in that first winter. That what was it, the starvation period or
The first great starvation.
the great
not a
first
great
starvation,
timeline
but,
for these folks.
Sound like
you're too busy trying to make a buck, and you're not thinking about how am I going to ever make it through the winter.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had too great a dependence upon the Native Americans to supply them with whatever they needed to get through the winter, because they thought, we just would buy that shit. Well, when the money runs out and the Native Americans are no longer supplying that shit,
You're on your own.
and you're on your own, dude. And if it comes down to your sweat equity and you didn't put any sweat into it, you're in a hard place.
I think that's John Smith's actual line, right, Dad? What's the line?
The line was no work, no eat, or something.
Yes, no work, no play makes John Smith a dull boy.
No, I think
No, it was those who do not work shall not eat.
yeah. There you go.
So he's saying, I don't care what nobility you were born with or how much money you have. Your money ain't shit over here. Get to work.
Jamestown has already been established when John Smith shows up, but they're on desperate times kind of thing, and then through his negotiations, forced negotiations with the Native Americans, that they're able to survive and get through there, and he kind of instills this whole we got to be self-sufficient kind of a thing that, if you're not working, you're not eating. Yeah. So get to it, brother. 'Cause,
these are aristocrats that are now under authoritarian rule from a soldier that's, when we get into his early life, you'll understand why he was such a hard ass, because he was a badass.
And everybody there is trying to make a buck. There's no doubt about that. I mean, John Smith included, that when they're hearing about what the Spanish have done in South America with the gold and the silver and all the money that they were, coming out of South America, that and they were certainly a threat to North America as well, because there were, Spanish holdings within North America, which is one of the reasons why the Native Americans kind of allowed the Jamestown settlement to be there. If they figure, well, if we align ourselves with these guys, with these English, that maybe they're going to help us defend ourselves against the Spanish, who are a bigger threat.
The Spanish have played the greatest card in history I think I've ever seen. I'm very partial to the Colin Quinn joke about Russia. Russia says in history, hey, we're the asshole. We're going to play heel for pro wrestling here. The Spanish have played the greatest card ever because they were the most brutal people. They were the most testosterone-driven people. There are multiple continents that are, when you say Latin America, that's because they were forced converting everybody in their path to Catholicism. Right, so they were very effective, right? But when you think colonialism, you immediately think of the English. The English weren't innocent in all this here either. But the idea was that the bloodthirsty Spanish, you can't deal with them. They're crazy. And then Spain, when they figured out that their rep was getting bad, just said, "We're gay." That was Spain's move.
They pulled a Kevin Spacey.
Have you been to Ibiza? It's lovely. Oh, we have delicious wines and great food, and we take a nap after lunch every day. Every day you take the nap. It's siesta. Very good. So yeah, they've had a pretty great. The idea that that's the country that was the most aggressive in colonial times or colonization times, but it's also the same place that white women go on vacation. When they're like, I just love the culture over here. And like, it's all soaked in blood. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, right,
I would never go to England because they were very oppressive to people, and it doesn't check out that way. All right, and by the way, there's no right and wrong side. Everybody's wrong. That's honestly, right. I think that's the simplest way to tell the story. But
yeah, but it wasn't the benevolence of the Native Americans that were allowing the English to, we'll help you out, we'll get you through the winter, and we're bringing you food, and everything else. That they had an ulterior motive too. That this guy, if he's able to bring 30 different tribes together under his kingdom, if you will, that he's a pretty shrewd operator himself, to a diplomat. That all right. The enemy of my enemy kind of a thing, and the English hated the Spanish, and there was all kinds of things going on.
So it's
back in Europe,
Catholics versus Protestants around that time frame. Worth noting too is that Smith did write a letter to the Queen of England stating that indeed he had told this story before, it had been in writing before, but in his letter he also said Pocahontas, who you're going to get a chance to meet now that she's coming over with her husband John Rolfe, did in fact save my life. The motive of the writing is interesting here because it might be two-folded. By writing of his life being saved amid some legendary heroics, where he's like, well, I was out foraging for food during the Great Starvation. I was the guy trying to make things happen here. And then I got captured because I was the only one brave enough to go out here. But
they didn't like how big my dick was. Starts adding everything.
Yeah.
Actually, I tripped over it. That's the only reason they caught me.
So. A lump on my sock.
Well, he also... this was interesting here because he urges good treatment and humanity to be given to English society, to Pocahontas. The story helps make him more famous, so like Sicoli was saying, and then also helps to create the celebrity and grace that the former friend was greeted with upon her arrival in England with her husband. And this is what the story goes with. It's very disputed in certain parts. Not only did Pocahontas warn Smith of threats from his own people within Jamestown and also of natives that were plotting to, hey, I heard a meeting with a bunch of my uncles plotting to kill you. She's kind of helpful that way. She apparently directly intervened with what would have been his execution after he was captured by the natives of the Pamunkey people. So that's one of the tribes that answers under the Powhatan nation here. So he is brought to the highest authority in the land, which is her father, the leader of the Powhatan, and Smith's life is spared. Some stories suggest the romanticized notion of Pocahontas, but others dispute that Smith's life was spared for a couple of different reasons. Number one, more valuable alive than dead. Number two, he can pay taxes or tribute to the natives. I thought this was very interesting. We only found this out this morning. The natives had a system of gift giving. So you've heard the term Indian giver before? Mm-hmm. that was because they didn't understand the idea of property. We're like, hey, I gave you this while you're using it, and then when you're not using it anymore, I'm going to take it back because everything kind of belongs to everybody. The inverse of that is they had a system of gift giving where they're like, hey, we're going to give you this, and then hopefully you'll give us something else in return. But the English were like, oh, they're doing bribery.
Right.
Yeah.
They took
that concept was so completely foreign to them.
That's your culture clash right there.
Right.
So that's number 1, more valuable alive than dead. Number 2, he can pay taxes or tributes to the natives. Number 3, they were hoping that this guy could help establish peaceful trading between the settlers and the natives. And number 4 is the actual most interesting one, at least to my estimation. He was never actually going to be killed. His execution was a mock execution, so all the paintings have this young Native American girl throwing herself on top of him before, like, the axe can come down on him, or spear, really.
Or club that he was going to bash his brains out.
Yeah, they some crude weapons over there, effective but crude.
Yeah.
So the paintings all show that. It's Harrington, would you be able to bring up the painting of Pocahontas saving John Smith, please? I know he's going to pull up the Disney movie on accident. I know that's happened.
I can see that so clearly in my head. That scene with her throwing herself.
It's because it's a great scene. That's why you tell that story, because it's a good story. So they do what we do. We just have the courtesy to mention that we're doing the Liberty Valance principle. But the old artwork shows this great. It's almost. That's look at that. Tell me that is not straight. You would see that hanging up in a church, right?
What really happened was they got distracted by those titties that are just hanging out.
That's right. Yeah.
They were like, wait, what?
They also
We just had a bunch of guys aboard ship for 4 months.
Yeah, no one wanted to kill anymore.
Bare titty for months and months, and now all of a sudden you got these Native American girls.
Yeah, I got a little Land O'Lakes butter fever going on here, folks.
Dude.
So
There you go.
another great one too. Yeah, on almost all these. One thing I did notice is that in the paintings they always whiten up Pocahontas a little bit. So there is that thing of the idea of her being more of her, probably, I think they even say it in the Disney movie, she's copper toned.
That's her as Rebecca.
That's their version. Like, this is our girl Rebecca. She's light skinned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she saw the light in the fact that she's accepted Christianity and took on a name of Rebecca. That she's turning her back to her Native American ways, and has now come to the realization that England is the only true way to pledge yourself going forward.
Well, you do know, too, that she's marrying John Rolfe, a very wealthy tobacco farmer, right? And it doesn't matter. You want to break down cultures? Every woman wants a rich husband.
Oh, yeah.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. That's how I know Carly and I have real love, because I ain't got shit.
What a culture shock that was for her, too. You know?
Oh, to all of a sudden
just
be English?
Now I wipe my ass with paper?
Yeah, right.
This is crazy.
Right.
I don't have to use sticks or anything anymore.
Yeah, right.
You guys
Corn
we don't wear animals over here? Like, you guys, I don't understand this.
Well, you do wear animals at this point. I mean, the fur trade is large and in charge.
But not back over. I think what Sicoli was talking about was when she goes back over to England.
Oh, right.
And it just picture bringing Pocahontas. She's just shitting in the street right now.
Yeah, right.
Rebecca, and she's ignoring it because she forgets her name.
Spraying her with a water bottle.
Pocahontas.
No.
Spraying her with the bottle is great. And you said this was the princess over there? This is
Yeah,
the princess?
right. She's princess status?
Not for nothing. There's a couple of girls out there in the Virginia Beach, Norfolk area that are pretty similar to that from people I've met in the military. So, interestingly enough, like I was saying here, is that, yes, there's that great story of her laying herself down to save his life. Did that really happen? We don't exactly know.
Yeah, other historians have said that, well, this was actually part of a ceremonial aspect, that there was
A mock execution.
A mock execution. There was 4 stages to this acceptance into the tribe by Powhatan for John Smith, and this was like the 4th and final stage, that it was going to be a mock execution, and I guess Pocahontas, whatever, that, what was to be not a real execution, but Pocahontas jumped in, and of course, again, if the story's better than the truth, go with it. Go with the story.
Well, and so they actually treat him very well. Smith is eventually returned to the people of Jamestown. He's going to broker the deal here. Everything goes to shit after Chief Powhatan and John Smith are out of the picture. That's when you actually have the massacres and the full-on wars and stuff. So for better or for worse, these guys are the ones keeping everything in balance for the time being. So this kind of plan sort of works. There's still tension. There's still, I think you're allowed to kill people in the open field if you see them. It's not.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's
right.
very. It's more of a gang
It's in
fight.
season. You're out of the fort. It's in season.
Hey, though you shot a Pamunkey Indian and you only had a permit for one of the Powhatan Indians.
Right.
So you can't have it, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of interesting things here, too, because you have that language and cultural barrier, so you can't tell if Smith is trying to embellish his own story or if this is just what he thinks happened. So you're not quite sure. It's dubious at best. Also, to Smith's credit, open war is not his go-to solution for this, probably because he is a soldier and he knows, he goes, all right, we got some cool technology. I got some tough guys. I got a little bit of a fort here. But I'm pretty sure if this came down to a fight, you're never going to win the fight against the people that are embedding themselves in the woods and have lived here for centuries.
Right.
So,
and are hunters by nature, by upbringing. They're hunters. Where now we got a bunch of guys that are not so much, and we've got muskets, but how many shots can you get off with a musket versus a bow and arrow that can be zinging arrows at you?
If it's 7 bow and arrows versus 1 musket, all of a sudden your technology is
right.
It's like Apple Maps. It's
plus your numbers
there.
are a little askew too.
That reload time for a musket's a bitch.
Yeah.
I think they said during the Revolutionary War that a skilled guy could get 3 shots off in a minute.
Wow.
That was pretty good. And this is also way older technology.
Yeah, that's a guy trying to reload and fire without arrows whizzing past your head at the same time.
Full concentration.
Like that scene in Glory when they start yelling at you while you're shooting.
Right.
Weirdest thing I've never mentioned on the show before. I think Harrington's going to pop for this. We would do stress testing during small arms training in the military. And I really consider him one of my great friends. He was a mentor to me, awesome guy. He's now an officer. He was enlisted. He went officer. Brad Burke. So he was giant guy, huge guy. He looked like The Rock, and there's a reason he looked like The Rock. So the joke in our unit was that he was. They were like, "Oh, who do you need to talk to, Big Burke or Little Burke?" And me and him had an agreement, and we said, "All right, I'm going to be Big Burke, and we'll send people to look for Little Burke." And they'll, So, and Brad was. I think he was half black, but it turns out his brother is MVP from the WWE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he, obviously looked very much like him.
Yeah.
And a giant dude here. But he used to do the stress testing for us during the shoots. So you'd be sitting there trying to aim your 9mm, and all of a sudden this dude is screaming in your face, letting you have it. He's just blasting metal music and stuff like that. And you sat there and you're like, all right, this is probably as close to, You want to know that, yes, I can do my job, but can I do it when you turn the volume all the way up?
Right.
But, yeah, shout out Brad Burke. This is the craziest part. It's the hugest deal in the whole story. John Smith is going to go down in the history books for multiple reasons. The Pocahontas legend is not the only reason that he's famous here. A major one is going to be that John Smith is and was a huge deal in the New World. He's actually the guy that gets credit for naming New England.
Wow.
That's true. Now, you found something interesting in here that a guy actually had discovered it 20 years earlier, but it's all about getting the name right,
That's
baby.
Right. Who got the patent papers in on time kind of a thing, yeah. But, and another one of the guys that was pretty instrumental in his upbringing, if you will, in his being selected as one of the leaders for Jamestown, was the guy that went on earlier expeditions or earlier. The name is escaping me.
You can get lost down these wormholes. It was not an easy episode to piece
Excuse
together.
me while
but
I flip through some papers.
our third and final act is the best one here, though, folks. So stick through it with us.
Bartholomew Gosnold.
You could have just said Mike Sicoli, and we could have ran
Mike
with it.
Sicoli. He took an expedition up through what they were calling at the time Northern Virginia, because again, Virginia was considered to go all the way up the East Coast. That this guy Bartholomew Gosnold was a heavy hitter in the early exploration of the New World, and he was the one that kind of sailed past Massachusetts and upstate New York and that kind of thing. And actually named Cape Cod because they took on provisions. There's a lot of fish around here, a lot of codfish. Let's call this place Cape Cod, and then they're sailing past Martha's Vineyard. and he had a daughter that had recently passed away. So in tribute to her, and there was a lot of wild grapes growing on this island. So hey, this place, we'll call this Martha's Vineyard. LOL. But this guy was very instrumental in saving John Smith's life early on, because again, going back to his original voyage over to the New World, John Smith is in shackles. He's below deck in chains because he was accused of mutiny, and it was Bartholomew Gosnold and the reverend that they sent over, the minister that was pleading for his life to be spared. And then once they opened up the orders, once they arrived in the New World, and those orders were not to be opened until you arrive safely in Jamestown. When they opened up those orders, they said, holy shit, good thing we didn't kill this guy.
Yeah.
Because,
Hey, the prisoner we brought here to execute is actually our governor now. That's insane.
Right. Yeah, right. But he was one of the guys that kind of pleaded to make sure that they didn't hang him, underway, kind of a thing, that were delivering a corpse to Jamestown.
Arrives in England in chains, about to be arrives from England in chains, about to be executed. He will eventually return to England after becoming the colonial governor of Jamestown here, and for a while. And the reason that he goes back is because it's just fitting for what a badass dude he was. There's a gunpowder explosion in his canoe, and it hurts him bad enough that he has to go back to England for medical.
Yeah, now he's in Jamestown at this point,
correct?
Right? And there's a gunpowder explosion, and there's again speculation that it wasn't an accidental explosion. That other people within Jamestown were trying to off this guy.
Everybody who came in after him did not have his relaxed idea about trying to work it out with the Powhatan. They were like, "Hey, if we kill all these Indians, all this land is ours." Right. That seemed to be the idea of the day. Mm-hmm. And I believe he's out of there now when the infamous Jamestown massacre occurs, which deserves its own episode. It'll get it. Maybe for Thanksgiving.
There you go.
But the whole key is this. He's going to wind up coming back. His success and his story, his heroic welcome back to England, will usher in a whole new wave of settlers to America. And, of course, he's going to do his writings here, which is going to tell people, hey, it's not for everybody, but you can make a lot of money if you work your ass off. Now, he's back in England, and he's going to have this crazy, hero status. But what exactly was he doing, Dad, before he set sail for this wild new place?
Whatever paid the bills.
It is pure chaos. I'm very excited. I told Dom about this a little bit early on, and I think Harrington's going to dig this one. John Smith's life before the New World, which is pretty interesting, it's fucking batshit. I can't think of another way to say it. Like all great stories, Smith's early life, hard to decipher. Born in roughly 1580, Smith will set off to a life at sea, seeking adventure after his father dies when he's 16.
Yeah, his mother dies early on. I think his mother dies when he was 15 or 14, and then his father dies. So now here he is, this orphan kid that's got to make his own way through life, and there was no governmental...
well, he ran off once, and his father brought him back and said, no, you got to go to school, learn a trade. And then they tried having him learn a trade.
Yeah, they tried to put him in with the merchant class, if you will, and a bean counter. He was not, that he just couldn't handle.
I think he had ADHD. That's just really what it is.
Sitting in the office and counting, the supplies of whatever ship was coming in or out. That wasn't for him. So he decides he's going to find some adventure elsewhere.
He's going to become a pirate. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's a pirate. Sometimes he's a mercenary. Sometimes he's a little bit more noble than others. But he does, in fact, get a chance to see the world. Far from England, he will see action several times and make quite a name for himself before he ever sets foot in Virginia. We're talking about a guy that we know he's famous. We only tell his story involved with Jamestown and with the Pocahontas thing. But the real-life stuff that's not really disputed, almost all of this is confirmed for the most part. And please, again, forgive us, folks. A couple of dumb jerks from Jersey here trying to tell these stories. We're going to slaughter a couple of names because I don't even know what's harder, to pronounce Native American names or to pronounce Eastern European names before...
Can we make Dom Eastern European for part of this episode? Dom, he's got Native American and Eastern European.
Dom, I know that you told me your grandmother's from Moldova. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm surprised you remembered.
Thank you very much, man. Well, we want to honor. I know that you're also your middle name is Michael after Michael the Brave, who was the man who unified Moldavia, Wallachia, and Transylvania.
Yeah, spot on.
See, you don't think I listen when you talk, Dom, but I listen.
You know this guy.
He's
All
taking
right?
notes.
That's what Sicoli's named after. Sicoli's named after Michael the Brave, the man who unified Romania.
Yep.
So the reason we mentioned
Flaming
him here,
red hair.
That's
the truth. That's why.
See, 10,000%. Again, folks, people think I don't listen. You know what
Soaked in the blood of my enemies.
I mean? Weird you would say that, Mike Sicoli.
Oh, that's a lead in that he
This
didn't
story's
count
pretty
on.
good. Smith is going to wind up fighting his first foray into the world of being a mercenary, if you will, is he's going to get a chance to see the world. He's going to be fighting with the army of good King Henry. King Henry was the king of Navarre, which I believe is Basque country now, which is their kind of their own unique little thing there. I never quite figured them out. But it's, I think it's northern France, southern Spain. They share a border kind of thing. So, and then he will also become the king of France, and for the cause of Dutch independence, they are in the midst of a conflict that is known as the 80 Years' War.
Yeah, it's known as the Long War. 80 years, that's getting up there. So if you're going into to start your professional career as a mercenary, and there's a war going on that becomes known as the 80 Years' War. I mean, you got longevity going on.
Okay. So what is it? 25, early retirement. All right, there's 35 years left of war. Okay,
That's
I can
right.
do that. Maybe if I get in later, then I can start.
Yeah. And the Dutch independence, just to give you a little background on that, Spain is now controlling the Dutch, the Holland. So there's people that are trying to gain their independence away from Spain, and they happen to be Dutch. So it's the War of Dutch Independence. And our man John Smith is now signing on to help those guys out.
Yeah, Spain is bullying the Dutch, essentially. You know, those sweet people, the Dutch, and not to be confused with the darling, sophisticated European darlings, if you will, again, of the Spanish, who would say, they're like, oh, have you been to Barcelona? Do you know about our beautiful culture? No, they're bullying the shit out of everybody at this time. So anyway, it's a different kind of muscle for hire, different kind of jobs over here. That aforementioned 80 Years' War will end in a stalemate sort of truce thing. Now John Smith's out of a job. He's going to head to the Mediterranean, where he's going to work as a trader, but also, as Mike Sicoli kind of figured out, he's going to work as a pirate for a little bit.
Hell
buddy.
yeah. Love that.
Different kind of times, different kind of muscle for hire here. He does get himself involved in another long-running war here. This is known as the Long Turkish War, or as some people call it. This beef is between the Holy Roman Empire and the Ottoman Turks. Smith is going to fight the Turks on multiple occasions. In fact, he will later make his coat of arms based off of his actions. This is the definition of a legacy. Like the Burke family coat of arms is a gold shield with a red cross on it. And when I read the Burke family coat of arms, it was actually because it was a gold Saracen's shield that apparently Richard the Lionheart had walked over and saw that a de Burgo man, which was the Norman Irish version of Burke, dipped his finger in the slain Saracen's blood and then made the cross on the
sign of
gold
the
shield,
cross, yeah.
and then bestowed it upon him as an honor for killing this, Saracen, if you will.
Yeah, well, the Ottomans now, we're talking the Christians against the Muslims.
You're
so
not too far removed from Crusades here.
Right.
But a couple other things worth mentioning on this one. This beef is going to be, he fights the Turks a lot. That's really kind of the takeaway there. Now, the war will be over territory disputes in Transylvania and Moldavia, where Dom is from. But Smith will fight in Hungary for the Habsburgs. So the Habsburgs it's really tough to break down, but I guess you can kind of just call it Austria, the royal house of Austria, if you will.
A huge empire, though, that they're a force to be reckoned with, the Habsburgs.
Yes, sir. Oh, what do you got, Harrington?
They extended way beyond Austria. Like they were. I think Napoleon gave them it was either Venice or Florence. But I know there was Habsburg lieutenants basically in like every European country.
Right.
If you get into a really crazy one, is that when the royal family in England, I believe their old coat of arms, I think they even refer to themselves as the German House of Habsburg or something along those lines, that all these languages are based off of it's a split of Latin and Germanic languages, and that the Habsburgs were the big swinging dicks of the time. It was like we hear them now, you almost hear Illuminati. That's kind of how it shakes out. But Harrington's absolutely right here. Now, this little battle over here is going to be going on. It's for Michael the Brave. We talked about as a Romanian tragic hero. He would be a great American loser if he was American, but he actually unites Romania, Moldova, and Wallachia. But he only unites them for like a hot minute because he gets assassinated right after this major victory he has.
Got a few enemies.
Yeah, so great job uniting everybody against us. But hey, would you like a cup of wine, buddy?
Right. Drink
So
deep.
they get him pretty good on that one. And it's the Hungarians, by the way, that Smith is fighting for here. Now, Michael the Brave is soon assassinated, and Smith will now find himself fighting for a guy by the name of Radu Serban, who is the Prince of Wallachia. Wallachia, by the way, is my understanding that is where Black Panther is from in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is that correct, Dom? Do I have that right?
Wakanda.
It's Wakanda?
Mm-hmm. It's a fictional place.
Hang on, you telling me Black Panther's not real?
Believe it or not, he isn't.
Dude, Black Panther was real. Tupac's mom dated him.
Oh shit!
I'm getting my hairs crossed on this one, folks. You're telling me that Wakanda is not in Transylvania?
Nope.
Is that what I'm finding out right now? What I do this goddamn research for? My whole life is a lie, Harrington. Anyway, Dom, so it's not Wakanda. I'm sorry, buddy. I thought I had another Marvel reference in there for you. We even keep going at this point, too?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll catch you next week, folks.
Yeah, this was a great one. It's I'm fucking around. So the Prince of Wallachia here is this guy by the name, I actually don't remember his name, but Radu Serban is the guy that has John Smith in his employ. While fighting for Serban, Smith is going to put his name in the history books for the first time ever. Harrington, in preparation for this, could you pull up John Smith's coat of arms for me, please? It's a pretty good... Dude, he's so fast. I love it.
There it is.
Mr. Sicoli, we are... actually, you look a little too much like one of those Turkish heads there, LP.
We'll have a fourth head on his coat of arms.
All right, what do you notice about this coat of arms here, Mr. Sicoli?
I noticed the bird all the way up at the top. Is that a peacock or a rooster?
Looks to be, right?
Yeah. Is that what you wanted me to notice? I also noticed
like
a tree
that.
behind.
So then you see the knights...
Come down.
Yeah, see the shield itself?
Yes.
There's three.
So what are you noticing there on the shield?
Looks like three of the guy who pumps my gas every morning before. That's what it looks like from here. It looks like
my
knights.
friend.
Got your credit.
Are those knights?
So those are actually three Turkish guys, and they're famous because all three of them are going to fight John Smith, one right after the other, in singles combat. That is, again, not one or two, but three single combat duels, and our fiery little Englishman here is going to help us discover Virginia, New England. He's going to, in a foreign land, defeat three Ottoman challengers. Not only will he defeat them, he kills all three of them via beheading. Ooh. So that is straight up, I don't know what that is. That's John Wick stuff. That is...
It's Game of Thrones shit there.
It's pretty good, man. So
and
he goes
throws
3
them
for
on
3.
his crests or whatever.
So
that becomes his coat of arms.
They literally give him the coat of arms on this one. This is I was very excited to get to this part of the episode for a couple reasons, but to honor this victory, John Smith is knighted. So Captain Smith, who helps discover Virginia, is knighted by the Prince of Transylvania. And they give him that coat of arms, and they say, hey, remember that time you killed those three guys? So you took their heads off, man? Though we got you this shield. With everybody's going to know about it now.
Always going to remember those three heads.
Yeah, man, it's pretty good. I don't know why I made him from Chicago. But, here's the best part. The Prince of Transylvania.
Dracula.
So close. So close. The Prince of Transylvania who knights John Smith, his name is Sigismund Bathory. And if the mention of blood in Transylvania and the last name Bathory conjures up spooky vampiric ideas in your head and hot goth girls, that would be because, yes, Sigismund Bathory is the second cousin of Elizabeth Bathory. Ooh. Harrington, you knew about Elizabeth Bathory, bud? I feel like he did.
I've heard of the House of Bathory, I think.
So Elizabeth Bathory is, depending on what accounts you're reading, she is the most prolific female serial killer in history. The urban legend goes that her and her servants would procure local girls from the village around her estate, and upwards of 300 to 400 girls were killed and Madame Bathory would then bathe in their blood in order to preserve her youth.
Adrenochrome, dude.
That's
Fucking always goes back to that adrenochrome. Keep telling me it doesn't exist, but what are we bathing in people's blood for?
I've seen it. I've seen the documents. It's insane, but yes, it's true.
And if you order now, not one but two for the price of one.
I can't wait for about a 30, 40 years from now. Like, did you or loved one take adrenochrome? You might. So, worth mentioning, though, is that Elizabeth Bathory was convicted. She was convicted of these crimes against the people. There's over 300 witnesses that said they found dead bodies all over her place, and that she was, whether or not she was bathing in the blood is highly debated. But her servants were put on trial, convicted, and executed for their complicity. But because she was of noble birth, they just kept her sequestered in her castle.
Yeah, let's lock this bitch away. 'Cause holy crap!
And eventually she'll die in her sleep. So, but that is the infamous Elizabeth Bathory here. Also worth noting, Harrington kind of hit this before. Would it be that this Bathory family, who in a Game of Thrones style is in a struggle for power, they have some territory in Hungary, they have some territory in Transylvania, they got a couple different things going on over here. Maybe a story about Elizabeth Bathory being a borderline human vampire, demonic creature, mass murderer. Maybe a rumor like that would help to swing support back towards the Habsburg dynasty. See, do you know where the rumors came from that she was bathing in the blood of virgins? The Habsburgs.
Right. Let's spin this.
Yeah, pretty good one on that one. But again, it is her cousin, whom she does know very well. Their second cousins is Sigismund Bathory, who will then knight our boy John Smith. So I literally just tied in vampiric legend with the guy who helps us discover New England. Insane. I do feel like that would be the worst. Oh man. New England vampires, that's got to be the worst.
Oh my God.
That has to be the absolute worst. I'm not going to do a hack accent and say park the car or anything like that, but oh man, just
looks like you want to.
Well, it'll come back at you with the Salem witches. Right?
Yeah, I guess that is it.
Yeah.
There's plenty of spooky stuff there already. We don't need vampires walking around saying "Go Sox."
Yeah. What a shitty last name to have with that rumor that you bathe in blood. Bathory?
Yep, Bathory.
Yeah, bathe in blood.
It's it wrote itself, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this is how insane that is. It is her cousin. They did know each other, and her cousin's the one who knights him. His coat of arms, like I said, features the 3 severed Turkish heads. That, by the way, stained glass is immortalized. So his coat of arms is in stained glass in the church where John Smith was baptized back in England. You can still see it to this day. In 1602, which is just shortly thereafter, this the crowning moment of his life, Smith will be wounded in a skirmish with Crimean Tartars who appear... this is where I'm going to screw this one up. They're kind of like Mongol-type, Russian-type people here. So he loses a fight with these guys, and really, their whole culture deserves better than an adopted kid from New Jersey trying to describe them. But our story today is about John Smith. By wounding John Smith, they're able to sell him into slavery, and his Royal English ass gets sent off to Constantinople, which is modern-day Istanbul. So now, the guy who made his whole career killing Turks is being sold on the slave market to other Turks in Turkey. Damn. Boom. Gobble, gobble, motherfucker. The Turks will finally get around to getting this guy who'd killed enough of them that his coat of arms is celebrating it, but whether or not they knew just how famous of a captive they had is never really known. He is sold into slavery. Smith is sold to a Turkish woman who puts him into labor and converts him to Islam. So, yeah, folks, Virginia and New England was discovered by a Muslim in a very weird way. I'm sure he renounced the faith immediately, probably didn't want a whole thing getting around. He is running for mayor of New York, though. I did think that was cool.
Oh, there you go.
That would have been, it's such a topical joke, but that would have been Cuomo's room to convert to Islam today.
Yeah, if you're being held captive, I'm a Muslim. Absolutely, I'm a Muslim.
Oh, well, okay, which way is Mecca again? It's over there, right? Yeah.
Which way do I have to face?
Yeah, you know what I do? I pray all 5 times right in the beginning of the day. That way I don't forget. That's what I do.
That's right.
So, but yeah, the Turks do have him here, and he is now sold into slavery, and he's sent to a labor camp. And the slave master there is so brutal to him that John Smith does what every slave dreams of doing. Well, slaves that are normal. I think there's other, Sicoli and I have met some people that I think their dream is to be a slave, right? But enough about what those girls do on OnlyFans.
That's right. I think that's.
I'm not saying any names.
Dominatrix or.
Yeah, so it's not quite that kind of a relationship. He actually is. He takes a beating from the slave master so bad one day that he attacks him and kills his slave master, and then escapes. So now our boy John Smith is able to escape. This is John Smith. He's going to make it happen, too. It's a few harsh winters in Virginia are probably going to seem easy in comparison to this.
That's easy living.
This dude hasn't had like a year of just chilling.
Nope, he is...
not even a month, it sounds like.
His feet haven't been up for
one
quite
thing
some
after
time.
the fucking next for this guy.
Not
Poor
quite
guy.
taking a summer off to figure out what he wants to do next.
Right. Finding myself.
No spring breaks for this kid. But yeah, he's going to escape after killing his own slave master. He will escape through Polish Lithuania on his way back to Europe. He will return to England in 1604, where he finally has a chance to take, as Mike Sicoli said, that deep breath and say, all right, what do I want to do with myself? I've gone overseas. I fought in about 3 or 4 wars. I was a pirate once. I severed 3 people's heads. I have a coat of arms that's probably going to be famous one day.
I was a slave.
Yeah, I was a slave once. Then you just hear a knock on the door. Hey, we're from the Virginia Company of London. Do you want to go discover the new world with us? Oh, shit, that sounds easy.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what's going to wind up happening here. So the Virginia part of his life is insane, and it's what we know him for. Might have been the least interesting part of his own life, though. Did you have any notes on the way out here, LP?
No, I think we got it covered here. But yeah, he was a badass from start to finish for sure. And as you said, Kev, I think by the time he got to the New World, that was easy living. I only have to deal with the Native Americans. That's a whole lot better than the Ottoman Turks.
Yeah, we're going to go to Virginia. It's a new place in the New World. We're going to start a colony for profit there. Are you interested? Hey, do you guys have any, Turkish people over there?
Yeah, right. And I can make a couple of bucks out of this deal.
Yeah. I feel like I'm going to make it work with the Powhatan people over there a little bit easier than I did with them. So real quick, I want to throw out Sicoli for a casting couch in a second here. Any notes on the way out the door?
No, we're good.
All right, the guys have been good to us here again.
You know what? Just that whole Pocahontas thing that really took on a life of itself too. That wasn't just forgotten after John Smith. That later on in life, I mean, now the American Revolution has been fought, and there's a play going on entitled Pocahontas, and then we're talking early 1800s. So it's not long after the American Revolution, and people are going in droves to this new play Pocahontas to see the whole John Smith story and everything else, and the whole American idea of the Native Americans and everything else. And this is also around the time of Andy Jackson's let's take all these Native Americans and move them out west because they'll be better off back.
The Indian Removal Act?
The Indian Removal Act. That, they'll be better off in Oklahoma. Never mind North Carolina.
We treated him like a dog that bit somebody. He went to a farm somewhere.
Yeah, but that whole idea or mindset of that the Native Americans are better off, that we take it away from them and give it to more justifiable white American or white Englishmen or white Americans at this particular point in time.
They had ice back then too.
Manifest destiny that it's attributed to by God that we should be rulers of this whole continent, kind of a thing that. It just was played into that whole thing, and it really became a big hit and really changed the whole American mindset as to how we're treating these Native Americans, and that it's all justifiable. That again, it was manifest destiny that we should take these Native Americans and convert them to Christianity and move them on to where they'll be happier and away from their lands that they grew up on. So
you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You just gotta get out there.
It's
you gotta
beautiful.
see it. I'm telling you,
it's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh my God, you are gonna love it out there. It's a lot of mythos in there, but the idea that John Smith's early life was just never covered baffled me because it was too good of a story. On
Better than the Pocahontas story.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more than Pocahontas,
Yeah.
for sure.
You make a mini series about him, and like around episode 7 or 8, you send him to Virginia. I feel like that's really the move there. If you were to make a John Smith movie now, all right, I know who I'm casting as Pocahontas, but who is your John Smith, Mike Sicoli?
I would say Michael Fassbender would be a badass John Smith.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
He's just like this resilient bad motherfucker. Like he doesn't seem it when you look at him. He looks like the skinny guy, but he's just got a way and a look about him. He's hard to kill. You know,
He sure is. He's an Irishman too, which is interesting. So my go-to for Pocahontas is actually I would like to cast Elliot Page.
Okay.
So that is my casting call for that one. I feel like he could do the job in a very respectable way, and there's lots of things we can do. Dom, any ideas if you had to do a casting couch for this one? You could either cast Pocahontas or John Smith. Who are you thinking, buddy? He's deep in thought on this one. Dom's going to give us a good answer. He's thinking. Don't say Rachel Ziegler. All right, she's in trouble already.
Sydney Sweeney as Pocahontas.
Sydney Sweeney is Pocahontas, and John Smith is every man in America.
Macho.
Good answer, buddy. Good answer. LP, I want to say thank you to coming in for the show here with us. You had a great time. I hope you enjoyed your Irish milkshake.
Absolutely. Happy birthday to me.
For those who want to have one of those at home, that is just a pint glass filled with Baileys and Jameson. And,
There you go.
Yeah.
With ice.
yeah, a little bit of ice. But and then also, real quickly, want to say happy birthday to you. Love you, dude. Love doing the show with you. I also happen to love our other guest today, too.
Yeah, he's a good man, too.
He
You guys,
is.
too.
It's, Mike Sicoli, where can people find you? Plug anything you got, buddy.
You can find me on Instagram at the Mike Sicoli. I have a special on YouTube called Prom King, and
Filmed at the dojo, correct?
filmed at the dojo with KP Burke.
You didn't have to include me. I was going to say, I think that's the first special filmed at the dojo, buddy. That's what you run with. So when that club is absolutely famous or bankrupt in about 30 years, we'll remember.
Whatever comes first.
Didn't there used to be a club? Yeah, Rascals, right? Wasn't it Rascals?
Yeah.
But, I also want to say thank you to the Dominator here. You're always good to us, buddy. Thank you for that one. I hope we did a proud story for the heritage of your people, sir. But that being said, folks, I'm KP Burke. Okay, that's at KP Burke Sucks over on Instagram. Check us out. Use the promo code LOSER at Gas Digital. You get $1 off a month a show. And like I said, I've made this joke 3 times on other different shows today. I will not be at Skankfest, but apparently a giant banner of me will be. So go ahead and sign that, and maybe kind of put a buzz in people's ears. Say, it's weird, KP Burke hasn't been here. I don't know.
He's on the banner, but he's not here. What's
He's
up?
on all the Gas Digital shows. He's pretty good at comedy, and I feel like everybody gets along with him. He doesn't cause any problems.
When the lawsuits come in for false advertising,
Oh, yeah, that's...
they'll hear something.
Yep, that's absolutely the
That'll
first
get their
lawsuit that's
attention.
I don't know. I feel like he'd have a good time down here in New Orleans where there's all this history. Like, please don't make me beg, guys. All right? Next year, do it. My son's going to be here soon in a couple of months, and maybe this time next year for Skankfest, I can get a 3-day weekend off. All right? In the meantime, it's at KB Burke Sucks over on Instagram. Keep checking us out. We got a bunch of great sponsors that are helping us make this show possible, but it does not happen without our good friend Mike Harrington for putting in the good word with us here and fighting the good fight over at Gas Digital. But that was John Smith before Pocahontas, American Loser.
On the edge they take the throne, built on bones of those unknown. Coming first, never last, still erased from the past.